right, y'all. Welcome back to the Business Highlight. I am Allegra, the marketing medulla, and I am here again on my channel. And I'm featuring another amazing woman entrepreneur who has a fabulous business. And if you have never met Miss Andrea Patrick, then I would love for you to make sure that you are tuning in, sharing this live to your friends, everyone that you know, because her business is absolutely amazing. And I have done a fabulous collaboration with her that has been truly enjoyable on my part. And I think that when we collaborate with other women entrepreneurs that are doing amazing things in their business, that we always get to win. And so as per, some of the groups and the networking events that I do, we know that we win together when we partner. And so I have Andrea Patrick that's going to join us. Hey, sis. Hey, Stephanie. I have Andrea that's going to join us, and she's here in the room now. So let us know where you're from, how you know us. Share this live to everyone that you know, and make sure that you are asking questions throughout the live, because we want to be able to give you as much value as possible when it comes to, talking about our business. And we do these business highlights not because we want to just talk, for no reason. We do it because we want you to learn from our journey. We want you to learn from, the things that we have done, the things that we have had, had mistakes in, our failures, our successes. We want you to learn from all of that. And so I have some amazing women that I can't wait for you to meet. So Andrea, I'm going to go ahead and invite her on now. And she is, they have some amazing different features here. So I'm going to go ahead and see how I get to add her in here. So I'm going to add, invite, boom, and we'll get this party going. And like I said, if y'all don't know me, y'all know, you will get to know me. I'm a business coach, and I just really focus a lot of my efforts around women and helping them really level up in areas of their business that they're struggling in. And so I have Miss Andrea here looking all beautiful. Hey, girl.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. I think that it's amazing that we've been able to partner, and there's been a lot of things that I know you've been doing in your business. So I can't wait for everyone to meet you. And for those of you who are joining in, just saying hi to everyone. Let us know where you're from, how you know Andrea, how you know myself. There are people that come in here from all over. Some people come from Facebook. Some people come from Clubhouse. Some people come from LinkedIn. So we always like to know how you found out about us. And if you haven't seen the latest collaboration that myself and Andrea did, go over to YouTube. She has it in her link in her bio. I have it in mine. And you will see what it looks like when powerful women get together and do a project and see how effective that is. So I do want to start off just by letting you, Andrea, just introduce yourself to everyone. I see, your clients are here. She was like, Andrea's my coach. Go, Andrea, and my friend. We have other amazing people from Clubhouse. I see Jay is here. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, hey, Iska, and let them know what you do, and then we'll go into some general questions. We'll just conversate.
Awesome.
Converse,
Okay.
rather.
Hey, everybody. Andrea Patrick, the BU boss, and I help entrepreneurs go from being controlled by their business to being the architect of their success through personal branding and the leveraging of one's personal brand. I have clients all the way from startups to $1 million businesses, people who are getting, venture capitalist money and really doing their thing. And I coach them on how to take who they are and apply it to what they want and how they want to create that quality of life for themselves. Oftentimes we have these business ideas and we really want them to flourish, but we don't build a solid foundation. And I believe that developing a personal brand is the way to do that, because when you leverage it across platform, whether it's your family, whether it's creating the systems and processes and workflows in your business, or collaborating with people, developing a personal brand is how you do it in a way that's authentic and that helps you be more organic in the way you grow your business, because people want to do business with those they know, like, and trust. We've heard that over and over and over again. And I think the leveraging of your personal brand is how you do that.
Okay, sorry, I had to pause there for a second because I was sending out invites, and just
Oh.
like I gotta do what I gotta do. And here's the thing, I want everyone to understand. I mean, I think you've said so many amazing things in just a short time that you've introduced yourself. Because how many years have you been in business, Andre?
Oh gosh, too many to count. It's funny. I've been in business for, let me see, my children, I've been in business for probably 15 years, 15, 16 years. And I want to give the caveat to that is, and I think that a lot of people benefit from this. When you get into a business and you have this great idea, you really don't know how it's going to flourish and grow from the seed you plant. So you start off with one thing and then it sort of transforms and you pivot and it grows into something else. And so I don't want people to be afraid of that or to be scared of that. I want them to recognize that it is part of the journey and not to let someone make them feel bad because they change their mind or they're doing something different or they found a different path. So yeah, I've been in business for 15, 16 years, but ultimately landed on this as a result of all the other things I did.
Let me tell you, you said so many amazing things. I just want to say this though, like when you talked about having to pivot and change in the moment, that's one of the major things that I think is so important because when you become an entrepreneur, you're like, wait a minute, I thought that they wanted this, or I thought, this actually worked. And, people really value that. And you may find that they don't. And so I think that being able to say, hey, like what I put out there into the world may not be what people want, and saying, hey, what do they want? And really being able to investigate that and being able to go with that and say, I'm okay with change is a really important skill to have, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and it doesn't even just the thing that people I feel struggle with is they're so invested in what they want to provide for someone. This is what I want you to know. I feel you need to know this, and they don't do their due diligence to understand whether or not there is an audience for it, for one, but then also to determine how can I make myself attractive to the people who want it the way I'm giving it. And I think that's where the personal branding aspect comes in. You're a marketer. I'm a marketer. We know what has to happen. But I think in people's quest to attract their sale, they're not thinking about you really just are talking to one person, that target, that one little avatar. Who is she? Who is he? And what does he or she want? Why does he or she want it? Where is he or she going to get it? How can I help them along in their journey? So we really have to identify what that journey is. And that really starts with us, I believe. That's where I think it starts. And that's how you can match yourself up with the right people. So your pivot is not out of it's not from the standpoint of nobody wants what I have, but it's from the standpoint of I am actually understanding more and more what people want and how what I have can apply to that. And that means I need to sort of pivot and do something a little bit different to make sure that I'm getting the right people.
yes, that is so important. And I think, a lot of times people ask the right questions, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but,
That's right.
you can ask the right questions too. And I've had people go, well, I really don't, I'm making some sales, but I really don't make as much because I feel like I'm talking to so many people. And you can lose a lot of money on the table by having such a broad audience of people where you're constantly, trying to like sell to them and they're like, and you really want to niche down. And so when I hear you talk about branding, I really want you to go a little bit into that because you have a lot of experience in working with your clients on really pinpointing what that looks like. And some people just think about branding as just the elements aspect of it.
The
And
pictures,
they,
the pretty parts.
yeah. And so just kind of elaborate on that a little bit if you can.
Sure. So to your point, trying to get everybody and promote to everybody. I always tell my clients, you want to be a big fish in a small pond, not a small fish in a big pond. And the way you do that is to identify your own. I believe to identify your own epiphany moment. What was it that triggered you to find this to provide this solution to solve this problem, to fill this gap? What was it? Whatever it was, what was that epiphany moment for you? And then how did you go about fixing that problem?
Right.
Because when you realize how you fix that problem for yourself, or how that problem can be fixed for someone else, when you tap into that, now all you have to do is find that group of people who has that problem and who identifies with the way you solve the problem,
Yeah.
right? And so when you when you attract them with those words, because they're going to recognize the journey, game recognize game, that's what they say, right? So when you're talking about that journey in your marketing and the promotion of your services, the people the people who resonate with the verbiage you're using, because they recognize the journey, they're going to be attracted to you, right? They're going to want to hear more about what you have to say, because they're like, what? It's like it's like squirrel. She said, what? And that's what they'll do. And then they'll click on your link. They'll buy your product. They'll come see you speak, because you have said something that makes them think you really do identify with their problem. You really do understand what they're going through, and they're going to want to learn more from you. Then the other part of that is identifying the journey you took. Now you can meet people where they are. Okay. So the term niche down is definitely one we use in our industry. But if you think of it in terms of how can I identify the journey that I took or that I created to solve a certain problem, how can I then communicate that to the right people and attract them with my words? And then once they jump into my funnel, how can I meet them where they are? And you'll be able to do that because you know the journey. When someone comes to me and they're like, I just can't get anything done. I've got 6 kids. They're running around my house. I can't get on Zooms because I can't get anybody quiet. I identify, right? So I can meet them where they are and say, okay, sis, here's what you got to do. Don't worry about the kids, because everybody recognizes their kids. Nobody's going to be mad at you because you got kids running around. You just have to say to yourself, all right, guys, I'm on this Zoom. I got kids. You might hear them in the background. I apologize in advance, but that's not going to take away from my professionalism. So I can identify with that mom, and I can help her solve that problem where she is in that moment. And I'm not trying to sell her on my product or service that's going to help her do something else that's not the issue at the moment. So so not niching down. Well, it is niching down, but when you look at it a little bit different, change your mindset and think of it in terms of where was I in this particular journey? What was my journey? And how can I talk about those various pain points along the journey in a way that makes people attracted to it and resonate with it?
I love that. I love that you actually help people break that down, because if you're thinking about it, you have to have some type of plan of action on how you're going to bring your customers, like you said, into your sales funnel. And like, it's funny because I have these rooms where we're giving all this free advice on Clubhouse, and one of the rooms is how to quit your 9 to 5 and start a business. And we talk about these things. Like, you want to make sure you start planning for those opportunities well in advance, and learning about what you're talking about using certain words that attract your audience, and understanding your audience behaviors and habits and where they are, where they work, where they play, where they eat. And I think that also just kind of elaborate on this a little bit more too. When you talk about your audience, because this is like a topic that I think people really need to understand. Like, if you don't know who you're talking to, you are wasting time. Like, I mean, you're wasting so much time, because your energy is that you're putting all this energy into giving advice, giving knowledge, giving lead magnets, advertising your services to people who are just like, okay, maybe I'll hire, maybe I won't.
Maybe I won't. Yeah.
And I mean, this is real behavior. This is not stuff that's made up. This is real data, and I'm a data girl. So when I talk about these opportunities to really learn about how do I reach my ideal audience, and what do they look like, what do they like, what do they, how can I really find out where they are? I think you if you can't figure that out in your business on your own, like, you don't have like a background to that, like when you worked in marketing or you worked in some type of like psychology or background in that, then you need to get yourself with a mentor or a coach, That's the honest to
Mm-hmm.
God truth. Because if I feel like, because throughout my whole entire journey, I think about this, and this is why I feel aligned with what you're doing. Because when you talk about being in the business for 15 years or so, I'm like, I feel you. It's a long time, and you have to have a lot of endurance and patience, and there's gonna be a lot of struggles too. So, having mentors and coaches and people that guide you through that time is really, really important. And that's what I feel like kept me afloat. So tell me and tell everyone who's listening and who's going to be on the replay as well. Tell them, when it comes to guidance, who do you go to? What is your ideal? Like when you have any type of questions or concerns, who's the person that you go to? Or people?
Who do I go to? I go to other entrepreneurs who are like yourself. I mean, I've asked you questions about certain things, and Kelly, I've talked to her about certain things because all of us are experts in, we may all do the same thing or work with the same type of audience, but we don't all have an expertise in every area of what we do. And I think that's the beauty of collaborations. So when I feel a deficit somewhere, I do not have a problem reaching out to someone that I know has a strength in that area. And that's why I think having and creating or constructing your personal framework is so important, because it teaches you where your limitations are, where they really are. And you can then identify that strength in other people. So if I'm limited in an area, I can identify that you have a strength in that area, and I'll connect with it and I'll ask questions. So it's about not really being afraid to ask questions. So anyone who is, I don't have one particular person that I ask. I don't have one particular place that I go. If you are better at a situation or better at something than I am, I do not have a problem asking you for help. So anyone who's better than me is my mentor, because I'm going to ask them for help for sure. You said something earlier about identifying your niche and really needing some help with doing that and uncovering that. I recently went through an exercise that was so eye-opening, and I want to share it with the people watching and who will be watching on the replay. Having a setup of questions that truly the answers to those questions will identify for you pain points for people, where people's minds are. I went through an exercise where I had a series of maybe 15 questions, and I asked these questions, and the answers to the questions told me things like where people have been searching for answers in the past. It told me things like what they would be willing to pay for a service, if they would be willing to pay. It told me things like what their challenges have been and where they felt they were struggling the most. And I asked this question of 30 plus people. And it was an assignment that I was given by someone else. It was, and they said, ask 50 people. And immediately when I was told to ask these 50 people, my thought was, oh, shoot, this will be a breeze. I know plenty of people. And so the first, I would say five to six people that I asked, I very quickly identified that these were not people that I needed to be talking to, and that this was partly why I have been having issues in the particular area that I was having issues in. Because in my mind, I was serving a group of people who needed what I had. They definitely needed it. There was no question. But what was revealed to me was they didn't recognize they needed it, which is why they weren't willing to pay for it. So the whole niching down thing is so important, because we find ourselves, and I say niche down because that's a term that we know everybody recognizes.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about it, why it's so important, is because you can spin your wheels for 10, 15, 20 years, blaming the system, blaming, everybody under the sun, because your business is not getting where it needs to be. You're spending all this money. You pay for all these coaches. And if you have not identified that, yeah, everybody may need what you have, but everybody hasn't recognized they need it, or everybody doesn't want it from you. So that's why these questions are so important before you get started. You've got to identify who these people are. So, I mean, that's kind of what I got to say on that.
That's powerful. I mean, you said a lot when you said that, and I welcome the people who came into the room just now. Hey, Annette.
Hi,
Um,
everyone.
Here's the thing. You say things that are very important to know, because when you don't niche down, you kind of get a lot of like stragglers, and I don't ever want to like call somebody bad because they're not my audience, but you're not my audience. Like, it's just business. And I think that if we really start to embrace that fact that we have to niche down, we say that term, right? Niche
Mm-hmm,
down,
mm-hmm.
but it really just identifying who really needs what we want and who can afford it. And
Yeah.
when we have people that are, and let me say this too. Just gonna say something real quick. You gotta listen to your mentors and your coaches. If you are in a position in your business where you really want to grow and get to the next level, sometimes the mentality is not there yet. And you have to adapt and be okay to change. And it takes time and practice. You have to practice things until it becomes a habit. And so I think that just being open to listening and letting people guide you and being able to be okay with failing forward, we call that failing
Yep.
forward,
Yep.
right? We want to make sure that you do well, and get a proven coach, of course. Get someone that you
Yes.
vetted, someone that you can say, hey, I know that they did it for someone else, so they can do it for me. But make sure that when you do get with someone who is very who is vetted and who is good for you, aligned with you, then listen to them. Don't waste your time or your money. And I'm just going to
Right.
say this. I have and this is, I'm going to ask you this question next, Andrea, because we're going to go a little bit deeper, because I want to see, how you effectively run your business when it comes to managing your clients.
Sure.
Some of the things that I think is really important is making sure you manage people wherever they are. They can be in your personal life or in your business. But when you're managing people in your business, you're not only managing like when you hire staff and VAs and personal assistants, you're also managing the people that you do business with, right? And I mean, I
For
think
sure.
that we've come across so many things like that when we've had our conversations, right? Like
Right. Right.
about the power of the follow up, making sure that you're
Right.
connecting and communicating with people, right? But when it comes to you being able to develop as a entrepreneur in this area of I think listening to your coach
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and being okay with change. I think at the end of the day, if you're not able to get to that next level where you're and I'm trying to make this, I'm not trying to make this too hard. That's what I'm trying to say in the best way I can. Where you're not committed, that's the word I'm trying to use. When you're not committed, then you need to make sure that you either tell your coach, like tell your mentor, hey, I don't think I'm ready. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, let you know that right now, because as a business owner and a coach, I am very happy to let people go, right?
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
very happy to tell people, hey, like at this point, you may want to work on these few things before, you actually work one-on-one, because we can't even get to this next level, right? I think it's a
Yeah.
two-way street. So
Right.
you can tell me if I'm wrong in this, because I've been coaching for
You're not
officially for
wrong.
only a year and a half. So you tell
No, you're
me.
not wrong. No, you're not wrong. And I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier when you were talking about working with people. It's about qualifying them. No matter how early you start your business, you have to qualify your customers. And that's something that I talk to my clients about all the time is like, okay, because what ends up happening and how people end up becoming my clients is because they have a situation in their business. It blows up in their face, they are upset about it, and they call me and ask me what am I supposed to do? Like, what would you do in this situation? And after I help them as best I can with the problem, my next thing is, okay, so how that could have been avoided is if you would have done a qualifying round before you took them on as a client. And so I have them, have create a questionnaire and ask them, like, what? So before we even get to that point, let me just say this. Part of developing a personal brand is creating what I call the personal framework. And that is constructed of 4 walls. You've got your strengths, your limitations, your desires, and your non-negotiables. I believe when you operate within the confounds of those 4 walls, business will be much more authentic. It'll be less stressful. It'll be less overwhelming. And you will be able to manage not only your expectations, but the expectations of other people. So that's the first thing. The second thing, from constructing that personal framework, you can then create a personal brand from what I call circumstances for optimal success. And when you do this, these circumstances for optimal success are basically you applying that personal framework to any set of circumstances. And I'm going to give you an example. I was a fashion stylist for a few years, and I got a huge job working for a major hotel brand. It's the Gaylord Hotels, which are owned by Marriott Hotels. I didn't realize it was Gaylord at the time until after I had gotten the job. But it was for marketing shoots within the hotel. I had never, and I was going to be styling 20 plus people. I had never styled 20 plus people before at one time. I had never worked for a major brand like this before. But I had what I call these circumstances for optimal success. So I knew what I needed, what Andrea needed to do her best on this job. So I asked for that information from the models. I asked for that information from the brand. I brought way more than I needed to go with me. I got an assistant to help me that day, that weekend. And so I set myself up for as much success as I could possibly have. So on the back end of that, Allegra, if I had failed, I probably would have licked my wounds a little bit, but ultimately I would have known that I did absolutely everything I could possibly do to set myself up for success, right? So creating that for yourself initially will prepare you for setting your business up and setting your standards of operation within your business up, so that when those clients come, now you can hold up the client to your standards. And if they don't measure up, that's $1 you don't want to take, right? So that's how easy it can be when you have created your personal framework and then leveraged it, to create a personal brand, and then so forth and so on. So to answer your question, yes, you're absolutely right in everything you said. But people don't know how to do that, because most times people start a business because they're trying to get a quick dollar, or they had a great idea. Someone told them that it would be great. They turn a hobby into a business, and all of those things are okay, but they've not created a solid foundation for the business. So then now they're just trying to make $1, right? So I open these doors, so I got to take every dollar that comes in. And Dr. Phil said, if you marry for money, you're going to earn every penny. And I feel the same way when it comes to your business. If you do business for money strictly, you're going to earn every penny, because every client is not going to be the perfect match. And you're going to find yourself struggling and frustrated if you've not done your due diligence on the front end.
Listen, you say so many things. You said so many things. First of all, y'all just catch the replay. Just go back to the beginning. And so here's the thing. When you're talking about pre-qualifying people, I think that's so important. And it just brings me back to the times that I did not do that in my business. And I think we have to give ourselves grace for not doing the things that we didn't know to do in our business at certain times. And for me, it was like a time where I was like you were talking about, like, I know this is something that I want to do. Let's go ahead and let's just get it out there, right? Well, here's the thing. I know that I have to have a business plan in order to teach somebody else how to have a business plan. I have to have the foundational elements in my business fully set up in order to teach someone else how to do the same, right? And so, first of all, qualify yourself, okay? All right, that's first and foremost. And then after you qualify yourself, qualify your clients. Because if, like when I didn't qualify my clients, like right now, if you go, anytime you schedule a free call, if I've like free 15-minute discovery call for anyone who wants to, right? And if they, and I always tell people, you got to be serious. Like, I'm very selective. So don't even click that button if you're not serious about really putting those foundational elements together for your business, or growing your business, or automating it. Like, don't even call. Like, don't even bother. And if you get in there, what's going to happen is you'll see this sheet that you're going to have to fill out, and it's
Fill
going to
out.
require you to fill this
Mm-hmm.
information out. And I'm going to know how serious you are,
From
because
that
when you
information.
come to talk to me, I'm going to already have looked at your data, looked at your researched your company, already saw what you're already doing, and I already know if I even want to work with you. And I think
And I have a what is your budget?
that is good.
What
What
is
is your
your
budget
budget?
is one of the main questions you should definitely have, because and usually I don't ask that on the forefront. I should probably do that on the forefront.
I
I
ask
usually
it up
ask
front.
this.
And I'm going to say, and I've had people be offended by that question. And here's the thing. People do not be offended by that question, because when you are in business, if you are calling someone to do business and you are in business, you should be thankful that they are asking you what your budget is up front,
Yeah.
and do not come back to them with, well, I don't know, just how much do you charge? No, because you will block your blessing. I don't know about Allegra, but if you tell me your budget is less than I am willing to do for you or for a service that I already have, I have built in fail safes for people. So whether you can afford me or not, I have something to give you to help you at least to the next point in time. Even if it's a PDF that you can download immediately, even if it's one of my free trainings, maybe it's a webinar or something that I have coming up. Don't discount yourself by being all, upset because somebody asked you what your budget was. Budgets are important. We all operate off of them. And if you have especially a consulting business, my time is my commodity. So I can't afford to just let you pick my brain on a discovery call, not knowing that that you can't afford me no matter what I say. So I need to know going in if you have a very small budget or no budget, so that I can prepare for you and guide the conversation in a way that can give you as much value as possible for what you can afford. Now, it's not just for me to gouge you. So if you say, oh, my budget is $2,000 a month, I'm not going to try to figure out what I can do for you just so I can get $2,000 a month. I'm still going to try my best to make sure that I am offering you what you need. That may not add up to $2,000 a month. Now, I know every coach is not that way, but I'm not trying to, I'm not here to steal your money. I'm here to help you grow your business. I'm here to help you be successful. Because if that happens, guess what? You're going to send your friends. And when you send your friends, whatever the delta is between the 2,000 you were willing to give me and the whatever I charged you, I'm going to make that up anyway. So your mindset is really important when you become an entrepreneur. You have to think the right way, and it can't be selfish thought.
Yeah, I think I'm big on energy. I really feel like, and you made so many great points again. Here's the thing: when you are really good at what you do and you're confident about it, you know how to charge you know how to charge your worth. You understand your value, right? And you're talking about time. Time equals money. And we have to really be able to say, is it really worth my time to take on this person, and to coach them or to give them strategy? And I love what you talked about having a fail safe. I don't have that automated in my system yet. But when I'm talking to people on a discovery call, and one of my questions there is, what is your budget? And I know exactly what my next answer is going to be, exactly when they say, yeah, I don't have a budget, or, oh, I didn't ever think about that, or, yeah, I do have a budget, right? Like, I want to know right off the bat, because you're right, Andrea. If we and this is I think you shouldn't be ashamed to say what your budget is. I think
No.
in business, when you have an entrepreneurial mindset, when you learn what business really is about, you start to really have more of those conversations, because you've got to know your budget. Like, that is not rocket science. And in your personal life, do you not know your
Right.
own personal budget for how you run your household? Like, do you know how
Exactly.
much your bills
And
come
are you
to?
not willing to go get the money if it's something that's important to you? So
That is true.
you may not have the money. My budget I don't have any money right now, but I am willing to borrow. I am willing to go get a part-time job. I am willing to do whatever so that I can fulfill this goal, or I can achieve this goal for myself. I think the mindset becomes a problem when you think if you're going into something, looking at a coach or something, and you think that you're doing that coach a favor by calling, you're not doing a favor. You're calling because you have a question and you think that we can answer the question. Why do you think it's okay to call and ask for my time, right?
Now,
Why do you think it's
let's
okay
not
to
go.
call
Let's
me
not
and
get
ask for
started
my
on
time,
this.
but you don't want to pay for my time, you know? So it's like if you're selling a widget, you're not gonna let me just walk into your store and be like, I really need this widget, but I don't have a budget.
Let me
Can you
tell you
just give me
something.
the widget for free? No one's gonna do that. My widget is my time.
I like that. And here's the thing. There are free resources. If you
All
want
over the place. I have
to,
a podcast, I have YouTube channel, I have a blog, I go live on Instagram with my friends that are now my collaborator friends. I get on lives with people and offer, free content. And so yeah, there's plenty out there. But here's the thing, and I think you said it so well, like go find a coach, go find someone. And I didn't say this when you initially said it, because you can work 15, 20 years trying to build your business, but that you can cut that in half if you just seek out someone who has been there, done that, has a t-shirt and a button, because that means they can tell you and give you the roadmap to the success that you're looking for. And you don't have to be ashamed that you need a coach. You don't have to be ashamed that you paid for a course. I mean, I coach people and I still paid somebody a lot of money for a program because it was an area that I wasn't strong in and I wanted to be strong in it so that I could make money. I was willing to do what I needed to do to make that investment, but you're not investing in your business or in the person. You're not like making their life better. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself. And that's the mindset switch that needs to happen. We need to stop thinking that we're doing, like, I'm doing all this for you. I gave you all this. I thought you were going to do X, Y, and Z, right? Coaching only works if you listen. The course only works if you do the work, right?
yep, absolutely right. And I think that, when we talk about getting with a coach, I think people kind of, because I was talking to someone earlier and I just wanted to kind of emphasize this. When people have bad experiences with coaches or when you have bad experiences with people, this particular individual said a digital marketer. For me, I think that you just have to charge it to the game because you're going to run into a lot of bad experiences. Like you will. And I've never in my life ran into, an experience with a mentor or coach. And I've had bad experiences and been like, I'll never get another mentor again, or I'll never get another coach again. You know what I did? I learned from that experience and I made better decisions. And I think that there's a lot of scammy things going on, and that's just in the world. So we have to just realize that when it comes to your business, it's a reflection of who we are in where we are in our lives, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. You know, okay, so let's just talk about, I mean, this is one of it's a touchy subject for me because I get a little irritated with people who say things like, well, I had a bad experience with this person. Or, I don't like, they blanket everybody that does that thing because they had the one bad experience. Okay. So here's the thing. I've had a lot of health issues in the past and I became an advocate for myself. I learned my body. I know what works, what doesn't, what food I should eat, what the food does if I eat it. I did the same thing with my kids. My daughter has special needs. She cannot blow her nose. I know that we can't allow her allergies to kick in because it will trigger her sinuses. We'll have a sinus infection. She can't, blah, blah, blah. I'm an advocate. I talk to the doctor ahead of the game and say, this is what needs to happen. How can I be an advocate? I can be an advocate because I know myself very well. I know my daughter very well. So when I run up against a coach, a doctor, a digital marketer, a collaborator, a client, when I run up against someone that I feel a certain energy, like you said, or I feel like I'm not getting what I'm needing. First of all, I know what I need, right? I know what I need.
Yeah.
So when I come to you and you're trying to give me something other than what I need, I can stop you. Again, it goes back to using that personal framework and being able to manage the expectations of other people. Let me help you with this. I came to you because I thought you said you would be able to help me with X, Y, and Z. Okay. I know that this is, a good idea, but that's not what I came to you for. Is there any way we can get to sort of where I need to be? Or if not, I completely understand. I appreciate your time, but because I know what I need and I know how to manage the expectations of those around me and I know how to manage my own expectations, it's very easy for me to sort of say, okay, wait. Can we get back to the matters at hand? Or can you help me find someone who could possibly help me? I'm not saying that people should be rude to their coaches. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you find you're not working with the right person, it's much easier to do that quickly when you know what it is you need and you're not just fishing for answers. Because that's how people get messed up. That's how people get with the wrong digital marketer. Because that person said, oh, yeah, I can help you get your following up. Yeah, I can help you get more followers on Instagram. But maybe the issue isn't the fact that you need more followers. Maybe the issue is that you need to become more of an influencer so that people are following you for the purposes of converting off of social media, not just for the vanity metrics.
Yeah.
But you got to know what you need. You have to be able to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that you don't have to know it all. I think,
No, you don't have to know it all.
coming to a coach, you're essentially just saying, I know my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I know my goal, and I just need you to help me get there. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's really funny because you're majoring in so many things that I'm like, man, you hitting buttons. Um, you are, and people, I'm anyone who knows me, my friends, my family, anyone. I'm a straight shooter. I don't believe in sugarcoating the truth because it's not going to get you anywhere.
It doesn't help.
It don't help you and don't help me. And so
Mm-mm.
when we're talking about being honest with your coach, I would rather you tell me straight up, and thank God I've never had this experience, but if I ever do, if someone says, you're not giving me what it's supposed to give, you need to go ahead and tell me or your mentor or your coach, whoever it is, and say, listen, I'm going to make an executive decision here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you're giving me what I'm paying for. Because when you go to the Walmart and you go you buy the product and you go to the register and you buy the product and you go home and you find out it don't work. Are you the person that just sits with the product and don't go back and return it? Or are you the person that actually goes, I'm gonna get my money back? You gotta
Right.
have a mindset to be like, I'm gonna get my money back or like you said, give me somebody that's gonna give me better results. And I think
Right.
that if we have that attitude, that because it flows in everywhere, it flows in our business.
Everything, everywhere. And the thing is not just about, I don't want that to come across as you need to be upset with the coach. What I want you to recognize is knowing what it is you need so that you're connecting with the right person in the first place. Because communication is huge. If you're going into something saying that I'm looking for, I had a person, this is a true story. When I first started my business, I had someone who wanted a newsletter. They hired me to just create their newsletter. So I created a newsletter. He was not happy. And I was like, this is a newsletter. No, that's not what I want. I want to do this, 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 this. And I was like, but that's not a newsletter. Yes, it is. I want to do that. And I said, no, what it is you're looking for is someone to write a white paper for you. It is not a newsletter, right? So he's upset because he's not getting what he wants. I'm upset because I'm giving him what he asked me for.
Right.
What has to happen is we as entrepreneurs, if we're going to a coach, have to know what we're going to them for, which is why you need to know yourself. Sometimes it's about exactly what you need and the person lied and said they could give it to you. That's one scenario. But in most cases that I've run into, it has been you asked me for something, but you didn't know what you needed. You
Yeah.
asked me for one thing, but you didn't know what you needed. And now I have to educate you on what it is you really need. But because you let me get so far down the road, now you're mad because you feel like you didn't get your money's worth, right? And
Yeah, we done
so
both wasted time.
Right, we've wasted time. So understanding what you really need and what your strengths are and your limitations and all those things will help you have a little bit more clarity around what you actually need. So now you can connect with the right coach in the first place to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I'm loving this conversation. I know we can't have it forever,
I
but
know.
you're making so many great points, and I just say for everyone who's listening, for everyone who's joined, and who's going to be joining on the replay, one of the things, and this is something I heard somebody say, so I want y'all to do this too. If y'all are coming on, and if you're on the live, I see a couple people popped on, popped off. But I'll say this again. Just go ahead and put hashtag live, I think it was. And if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And that way we know like where you heard us and how far
Mm-hmm.
down the video you actually watched. But I
Mm-hmm.
really feel like this is really important to know too, because when we are talking about actually, being responsible for the decisions that we make, if we're going to coaches and mentors and we're saying, hey, like, I asked for this one thing, and I've had that too. A lot of people get frustrated around the fact that they can't communicate what they want, and not being able to communicate what they want, and then it's like, the blame goes back on you. So you have to create certain guidelines and structure things around your business. Those are learning lessons to say that'll never happen again. So now I know that I got to put something in this contract to say this, or I have to
Yes.
preempt the client to say, you got to be very, very clear about A, B, and C before I even start operating on your business, on your project. And I think that helps us grow as business owners. But yeah, make sure it doesn't matter if you are a client, a consultant, entrepreneur of any kind. I think the lesson here is that because we've both been in business for a very long time. Okay. So I think the lesson here is make sure that you're speaking up for,
Mm-hmm.
for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know uh, what it is, and we can kind of end on this note, and then I want you to tell people, how to reach you and what kind of offers you have available. But I just want to say this to end it off to say, um, I don't think maybe we're not taught to know how to speak up for ourselves in certain situations when it comes to business. And maybe it's just new to us, so we just don't do it. Because I'm telling you, the situation that we were just talking about with the gentleman with the digital marketer, I'm going to go further down the line and let you know that my next question was, okay, well, hey, if you had someone screw you over and never delivered, then what was your next step? Did you ask for your money back? Did you
Mm-hmm.
ask for, like you're talking about, did you ask to get referred? Or did you even
Mm-hmm.
give a bad review? Right? Did you
Mm-hmm.
try arbitration of any kind? I don't know. And his response was, no, none of that. I just charged it to the game, and I just said the Lord will fight my battles. And listen, I don't give nobody's personal information out to say who this is or what, but I'm going to tell you something. If you feel like, and this is the same thing I told him, if you feel like you are in a situation that someone has done something to you and it's in a business transaction, we got to learn how to leave the emotion out of it. Take the emotion out of it completely, because if you feel like somebody did you dirty and you start to get angry, or if you get angry with your coach, then you can't think straight. You're not making good business decisions. And we want to always be level-headed when it comes to business, which is the money. We always want to
Mm-hmm.
be thinking without the emotion involved. And so, yeah, he never said anything. And so I'm just sitting here like, you got to live with that now. Every
Mm-hmm.
time you see another digital marketer, you're going to think in the back of your head, I never got my revenge. I never got what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'll leave it back to you to go ahead and end with your last remarks of that, whatever you want to respond to, and just let us know how we
Yeah.
can support you.
Yeah, so to your point, you do have to be able to speak up, but I will just leave by saying this. Developing a personal framework and then the personal brand and learning how to leverage that really does cut down on a lot of the stuff that we just talked about. I really do pride myself in what I do and how I help my clients. And one of the things that makes it so easy for me to work with other marketers like yourself is because I feel I am helping people lay the foundation for their business so that whatever you're sharing with them in their business development is going to stick because it's authentic to them and
Yeah.
it's what they need for their business. And I think when we get away from doing business authentically and trying to imitate versus interpret what we see other people doing, that's when we run into the issues that you just talked about. The only way to learn how to interpret it is to know what you need to be and do your best. And then you can interpret what you see other people doing so that it fits what you need. So if you are interested in learning how to do that more, or to develop a personal brand that you can leverage, you can definitely DM me. First of all, DM me personal brand, and just put that in my DMs and I will reach back out to you. I am currently trying my best to grow my YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers. So that's the number one way people can help right now is just go subscribe to Andrea Patrick Official over on YouTube. And I have a podcast that I do every week. It's called the CEO Mindset Podcast. And you said something earlier, and the CEO stands for consistently evolving and being open to failing and failing fast. So that is what the CEO stands for.
Okay.
And it's having that mindset of consistently evolving and being open to failing and failing fast. And then definitely check out my website, andreapatrick.com, for all of my digital products. I have 2 books. Everything else is out there on my website. I have several different ways that we can work together in coaching, courses, mini courses, challenges, all that. But just DM me personal brand and we can talk about what you might need.
I love that. Yeah. So y'all heard it right here on the Business Highlight. Miss Andrea Patrick, and she is doing so many amazing things in her business. So make sure that you are DMing her personal brand. And if you did not catch the beginning of this fabulous live, okay, she gave out some really banging tips. I'm talking about, we talked about some things that may be hard to hear. We talked about some things that are enjoyable where you can like write it down, take action. So I just encourage you to go back and listen to the replay. And also, you know, like I said earlier, if you're listening to the live, hashtag the word live, okay, if that's where you heard it. And also, if you're listening to the replay, hashtag replay. And I heard this in, I think it was Renee Flagler's live, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna copy that. So I'm gonna give credit to Renee for giving that, you know, little tidbit there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live today. Thank you again, Andrea. It was so
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you guys for listening.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later and have an amazing day.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.